So greetings and welcome to BUSTEC250. This is an exciting course. It's virtual careers and technologies, and this particular area of study has evolved so much in the last few years, and where previously it was kind of a unique niche, the skills and the environment and many of the attributes associated with this career choice really are expected in any and all professions. So my goal here is to give you an overview tonight so you get very, very comfortable with what is expected in this class. We are using Canvas, and this week our goal is the orientation and making sure you feel extremely comfortable in this environment, albeit that within this particular class of virtual careers and technologies, you're going to be in multiple different environments, such as CCC Confer and others, simply because we want you to feel very comfortable, whether it be Google Docs or anything that we expose you to. We want you to be very flexible and able to acclimate comfortably. So let's talk about tonight. I am in the student view, and this is the home screen. And on the home screen, just exactly what you see, start here is where this week you should start with. And when you start here, it's going to have the welcome message from me, as well as some step-by-step guides. We've got the welcome message that was emailed approximately a week ago. If you haven't had a chance to do the Get to Know Me survey, please do so as soon as possible. All of these take you to a module. So for example, from the home screen, you can quickly go to announcements, syllabus, and/or the modules. Tonight, the focus is on the module. Yay, Google Docs, Darren. Yes, we will live in the environment where we could collaborate. And you will feel so comfortable with the in and outs of Google Docs as well as Google add-ons, Hangouts, other environments in this class. So let's talk about the modules. Here's my objective for you this week. Number one, I want you to get to know the course syllabus. Let's focus on the learning outcomes and student objectives for this. Describe the different types of virtual environments, define terms that relate to virtual environments, assess the skills and work habits necessary for virtual careers, analyze ways to establish and manage a virtual career, evaluate technologies utilized in virtual careers, which is ever-changing, and apply communication tools and techniques for a virtual environment, as well as locate and identify job opportunities. I like to start right off the bat with having you kind of look ahead. Good point, Darren. They may not have installed the client yet. So we'll give them time. And remember, any and all videos that we do will always be recorded and posted. So for example, when we talk about virtual careers, American Express is one of the biggest employers of virtual careers and positions. And it's ever increasing. And so this is an example of just some of the virtual careers and job alerts with a very large and worldwide firm. So once you understand the learning objectives, let's go back to the modules. You can step through these step by step this week. I really want you to feel comfortable with the accommodations that are necessary. Please do not hesitate to let me know if there's anything you need at any time to make you more successful in this class. I also talk about communication. Communication is key, and although I do not have necessarily set business hours per se, I will be online at certain times. I've put some times here as estimates. However, I really prefer that you meet with me by appointment. It'll be easier for you, and I can guarantee that that way the time meets your needs as well as my availability, whether it be virtually, online, in person, or via text and email. In addition to this, we talk about the course grading policies. The biggest thing I want you to remember here is there's no late work. We pace everything out for you so that we always progress towards a goal. We break things down from week to week, and as long as you stay on task, you're going to do very, very well. When we have online discussions in this class, a discussion is a participation, which means it's a dialogue. It's just not putting a statement out there such as I agree, but it's really responding to your colleagues. So we're going to practice that this week. So for course orientation, what do I expect by Friday? Well, first of all, there's a welcome instruction message from me, and then there's getting started with the course. There's also readiness tutorials. By no means do you have to do all these tutorials, but there are resources here for you if there's any of these subject matters that you think you'll benefit from. Then there's a syllabus quiz. The syllabus quiz you can take as many times as you want, and it's all associated with the syllabus version 2 that I've put up there. Every time I teach a class, it's different. It's because the students are different. And so the course syllabus is going to evolve and change during the course to meet the needs of the students with which I'm teaching. So please keep an eye on the V. If we have an update, it'll be V2, V3, V4, and any changes will appear in red. Okay, so Darren says it's limited to 5 attempts. So that's a perfect time for me to do this. I leave student view. And let's go through, and I'm going to edit this quiz. And we want to make sure that any defaults, allow multiple attempts. I believe that should give you unlimited attempts. Let's go ahead and put 10. That should be plenty. Because I think you have to specify, well, let me 10, yay. Hopefully that'll be adequate. There's only 10 questions, and it shows you the answers at the end, so. But it's pretty straightforward. But thanks, Darren, great catch. Let's go back to the modules. Once you take the syllabus quiz, there is a learning contract, and you're simply agreeing to obey by the rules of creative and active learning, and that's documenting your work, digital honesty, etc. Then there's the student introductions. Excuse me. In the student introductions, notice that with any assignment, we want to put a rubric. You could always click on, and let me go back to my settings so you can see the student view. Any assignment that has a specific rubric with specific scores is going to have a rubric available for you. So when you go to the modules, and when you go to, let's say, student introductions, oh, awesome. So Hannah aced the quiz. Yay! And Darren did as well. See, I have star students. My students are the best. So one of the things I want to point you to is up here, we have what's called a rubric. So for example, how are we going to score the first student introductions? Well, your original post, as long as you make that, that's going to give you 6 points. Well, there's 10 points possible. So how do you get the other 4 points? Well, you have 2 replies by the due date. As long as you reply by the due date, it's an easy 10 points. So let's talk about what you do. Post a short introduction, at least 25 words, telling us why you're taking the course, your education or career background. Are you working towards a certificate or degree at American River College? And what is your favorite vacation or getaway place? Now, you're going to make sure you have appropriate grammar and capitalization, and you're going to respond to at least 2 of your colleagues by June 9th. You can notice that a whole bunch of our amazing students like Keisha have already started to post. So please continue to post and wait until you have 2 people to respond to. Back to the modules. Once you're done with your student introduction, oh, there are 2 different places that you post. Yes, there's the Getting Started Week 1 introduction, which is a different assignment with different prompts. So you have to actually do both, Darren. This student introductions is a specific prompt simply to kind of general statements. Week 1 is where you really start the activities that directly relate to this class. So let's talk about the week. Every week we will meet on Monday at 8 p.m. We'll go over the assignments for the week. Now, this week is a little tricky because you have the orientation activities as well as getting started. So I tried to keep the activities to getting started relatively brief. So what are your activities this week? Number 1 is a written assignment. Week 1, virtual environments assignment. Have you ever worked in a virtual office? Do you even know what it means? Use your favorite search engine to research this field further and investigate the following issues. And I've put some prompts for you. Now, the key thing here is to respond in the appropriate format. Create a memo. You're welcome to use a template, but it needs to be in memoranda format, and it would be to me, and the subject matter would simply be virtual environments. When you respond to this, again, do not include personal skills or habits, okay? We're gonna be talking about that later. This is simply to explain to business owners the critical environment elements of virtual workers. Whatever resources you do, please at least cite 2 online resources. Now, one of the objectives of this class is to make sure that I expose you to as many really cool online tips and tricks as possible. So, has anyone ever used the APA generator? Well, for those of you who have APA or MA format, a lot of us will use Word to create our bibliographies, but there's also great online generators. So for example, this link here will take you to the citation machine. The citation machine is really cool for those of you who have to write papers. This is where you simply select APA, MLA, or Chicago style, what you're documenting, put the URL, and it will create it for you. It also goes into the specifics about books and magazines and newspapers and websites and journals and films. It's just a great little tool for a quick in-place insight generator. Now make sure you submit this to the Dropbox by the due date. Now, what is the due date? Well, unlike your origination of or orientation activities are all due by the 9th. However, whenever I assign work on a Monday night for the week, it's due exactly a week later at midnight. So this gives me an opportunity to address any questions on the Monday night that we meet. So for example, these will be due June 12th at midnight. Now, the next thing is a week one introduction. So this is directly related to the course, unlike the general one. So this is talking about yourself and your working experience, kind of why you're taking the course. If you plan to become a VA, where are you at in the process? Does your home-based business appeal to you? And if so, why? What is the biggest challenge during the course? And how can we support you over the next few weeks? Modules. The next and last thing that you'll do for this week is the Get to Know Me survey. I did send this out in advance, and many of you have already completed it. But if you haven't had a chance, please take time for me to get to know you. Okay, so let's talk about the flow of the course. The best way to look at this is to simply use the modules. And in the modules, I'm going to look at the syllabus. In the syllabus, on the last page, is a draft schedule. And that draft schedule kind of tells us where we're going and how we're getting there. You've already figured out that I don't have a textbook for this class. Everything is available online with the most current information and resources. But basically, this is what it looks like. Our first week is getting started. Our last week is closing up. We have 6 weeks of really deep, tight work and learning. And the subjects include: what is a virtual career, virtual resources and careers and virtual models? Do you have what it takes, which is all about self-assessment, marketing your skills, using, exploring, and evaluation of current technologies, setting up and operating your own business, understanding that when you do, you are not alone. There's cohorts, subcontracting, but there's also some real pitfalls that you want to avoid. And then finally, on the last week, you'll have your final projects and sharing and the wrap up. What I plan on doing is this week, we're meeting at 8 p.m. on Mondays, and I hope that works for everybody, but if not, it's recorded. I would also like to do a weekly check-in where I'm available for you online. Right now, I have the availability from 4:30 to 5 to be online. So you're welcome to hit Confer Zoom. I could also create additional time or time that you want to meet with me one-on-one, and you can reach out to me via text or email or phone. When you go to Confer Zoom, the only meetings that I've put on so far, oh, that's right, I'm being a student, so I can't look. Let's leave student view. When you go to Confer Zoom, you can see that I've scheduled out all of our weekly meetings. If Wednesday afternoons work for you, I'll make sure to always send out a little link, or you can get on Confer Zoom and you can find me. So, in this class, we're using Canvas as our environment to learn, to share the resources, as well as submit our work. The communication will happen largely in Confer Zoom via email, inbox, and/or use of the announcements. Every week when we meet, I'll make the recording, and the recording will be posted in the week. So, for example, if you look under week 1, there's the webinar, today's date. Prior to a webinar, it will have the link. After the webinar, it'll have the embedded video available for your review. So, this is BUSTEC 350. Are there any questions, concerns, anything you'd like to ask or share? You're welcome to use chat or unmute yourself. Terrific. If not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, wish you all a good night, and I'll hang out for a little bit for individual questions. I'm thrilled that you're in the class. Darren, is there a template we can use for the memo? Absolutely. You are welcome to use any template that's readily available in Word. So for example, if I was to use Word, simply go to File, New, simply type in Memo. There you go. If you're using Google Docs, you can also access the same style of templates and use any template you like. Can you repeat why we need to use a citation machine? Absolutely, Goldie. In the assignment that you have this week, you need to talk about virtual environments. You're accessing information that is already online, and any information that you access needs to be documented. So if you're citing 2 online references that you use to compile this information, you will need to credit them. You want to do it in APA style, so using the APA generator will help you make sure that you've documented those APA styles correctly. Participation, Hannah, happens several ways. Participation points occur by participating and documenting. I can see who has viewed the video, as well as participation points in the feedback points of the discussion shows that you've articulated back and forth, and those will give you participation points. If you look at, let's go back to the modules, and let's look at the syllabus. You'll notice in the syllabus, the points that are assigned, and please do not get hung up on points because every class is different and sometimes I have more or less activities. Notice there are no participation points or percentages here. It's based upon the assignments, the quizzes, the online discussions, the projects, and the final project. Participation, however, is essential to be successful. Great questions.
Question.
No, you do not always have to log into Zoom because remember, everything is recorded and not everyone is available on Monday night at 8 p.m. It's great if you can be here live because then you can ask questions. However, always watch the video, or you can watch the video over and over again if you think there's something you missed. Yes, question.
So there's a book listed towards the top of the syllabus.
Yeah,
We even
there is, Darren, this is a suggested text. If you are not familiar within the environment of the office and or writing text, this is a great handbook for the office professional in the 12th edition, but it's not at all required. And hopefully there's an online version of it too. How has been around, I actually, when I, in the 70s, started school, in grad school, we were at How To, I think. But it is the kind of like the Bible of office workers as far as writing difficult letters or grammatical structure, formats. It's very, very traditional. Nothing you absolutely can't get online, but for those who want a quick reference at their desk, it's just a great resource, but it is not required.
Okay. And then if we're doing the memo in Google Docs, what format should we download from to submit?
Oh, when you go to Google Docs, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we can still
Okay,
see your screen.
awesome. Okay, so I'm in Google right now. I'm going to move some stuff around. I'm simply going to go to my Drive. Let's just go to Drive, and we go new. Oh, so slow. And we go to Google Docs. Remember, in Google Docs, you've got tons and tons of templates too. And you can always go to add-ons, and you can get add-ons or templates, and there are tons of templates. So you can do memo templates. Always be careful. Some of them are pretty cheesy, but you can also, let's go just to templates. And there's tons and tons of different templates available. But what you can also do is if you have access to Word, and I've also put a link in Canvas to free 365 for students, then you can always, using Word, upload a template or start a new template and then upload it to Google to edit it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome. Terrific. But tons and tons of templates available. Just be careful. There's some memos that will come with pre-content in them, and so it's a lot like raising somebody else's child, so you got to be careful.
And then what format do we submit when we're downloading from there?
You could, when you download from Google Docs, it'll automatically download in doc or rich text format. Either is acceptable.
Okay.
Perfect. Later in the course, you'll be downloading everything as PDFs to freeze the format because you'll be doing things so differently. But for right now, just rich text format is great, or Word. Great questions. Okay, awesome. Any other questions for tonight? Fabulous. I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording, but I will hang out for just a little bit for any questions. Welcome to BUSTEC250. I really look forward to the next few weeks with you. We'll get a lot done, learn a lot, and most importantly, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Good night.